All right. So the number one mistake that I see leaders make is this. You find something that's working really well in your life or in your business, and then you don't do that thing. You do it for a little bit, you start seeing all these results, you start generating a lot of income, a lot of impact, you're starting to get some momentum, and then some little voice inside of your mind, that entrepreneurial ADD voice says, maybe we should try something else. And instead of doing the 80-20 rule, which is continue to do what's producing results and then split test creative things 20% of the time, you shift all your focus to this new idea because it worked a little bit with a small pool of people. You stop doing what actually got you the results. And now something that's called lead and lag time is a month from now, you start to get less and less results and you don't know why, because you thought, no, this new thing, it worked in the very beginning. No, it didn't. You were just still getting results from the old thing that had been working the whole time. And the biggest mistake was feeling like you needed to stop doing that. At the end of the day, if you're making a lot of money because you're running ads online and you're running ads in a certain type of way, unless they stop you, ban you from running ads that specific way, there is no reason for you to switch up the presentation that you're sending out, the questions that you've been asking, the phone calls that you have or haven't been doing. You might as well keep doing what you're doing if it got you the results. If you've created a lot of success, if you've made a lot of money, if you've been able to move forward, if you've ranked up inside of your company, if you've climbed that ladder, why did you change what you were doing? It was working. All you actually needed to do was to continue to improve you. All you needed to continue doing was continue working on yourself. You didn't need to change the process. You just needed to continue to grow you. But there's this little voice inside of our head as entrepreneurs, as ADDs like we are, that said, hey, maybe I should try something else. Or maybe for a week, you weren't getting the results that you usually typically got, that you had become accustomed to, because either you were out of your routine, you were traveling with a traveling family, you weren't able to go to the gym, you went on a holiday, you did something else that changed how you felt inside and the amount of time that you could actually put into your business. And then that cast a doubt on the processes, but the processes are the processes. If the system works for one, it can work for all. The thing that changed was you. The thing that changed was your habits, your daily routine, the time that you were putting into other things, your distractions, your energy, your mindset. And then when you were ready to get back into your habits, rituals, and mindset, and you had to look at your business again, you thought, oh, well, it hasn't actually been working that good for the last week. So I'm going to start changing things up. I'm going to start creating a new webinar. I'm going to start creating a new script. I'm going to start speaking to leads in a different way. And then it gets down, you keep kicking the can down the road, and 90 days goes by and you're getting some results because you're good enough, but you're not getting the top level results, right? You're not crushing the 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K months. You're nowhere near hitting $100,000 month, because now you're using a system, process, webinar, sales scripting, something that is subpar to the original thing that was working so well, not just for you, but for other leaders that actually created your entire organization in the first place. But you felt like you had to recreate the wheel because you were in a rut for a week, a month, a few weeks, but actually your lifestyle was maybe the issue, not the actual system itself. You have to think about it like this logically, right? If a webinar, a system, a process, a platform, a sales script, a follow-up technique, whatever, was working really well consistently for you to start getting massive results, what on earth could have changed? Why all of a sudden has your buyer's human psychology changed so much that now that thing just doesn't work? That doesn't happen in a few days. That stuff takes years to change, right? So the only thing that actually changed was you, right? And your perception of the thing. And instead of just fixing the way that you were doing that initial thing that actually worked, you started pouring all this extra time, all this extra resources into a bunch of new shit that isn't proven. You don't even know if you're good at creating that stuff. And now you're potentially sharing that with your entire organization, and now they're getting subpar results, and that's all that they're used to as well. And it's impossible for them to break through because the systems and processes that potentially have now been provided to them only allow for X amount of results. And then sometimes our ego can get in the way where we're like, well, we don't really want to go back and use that thing, because then we have to admit to ourselves that this isn't working to the level it could be or should be. So that's something that I definitely want to touch on, is that the number one mistake I see successful leaders make in sales, in business, in entrepreneurship is they have something that works, they absolutely killing it, and then they get stuck in a little bit of a rut and then they quit. Another thing that I want to talk about is the difference between being in a rut and the difference between there is something that you're doing that is just not working. Sometimes I'll be speaking to people and they'll be like, oh, it's been 3 months. I've only made a couple of sales. It's my driest period ever, but I know it's just a season. No, if it's been 4 weeks of you being stuck in a rut, it is no longer a season like of just there's lucky times and unlucky times. And I'm in just this unlucky time. No, what you're currently doing, there is a breakdown in your process, either in your process or in your psyche, in your mindset, or whatever it is that you're trying to market or the way that you are selling right now. There is something badly wrong. If you've created success before and now you've just gone an entire 4 weeks making not many sales, not much money, it's dribs and drabs, there's not huge momentum like there's been in the past, there is something wrong in your process. It's not just luck, right? You might have a bad week. You might have 20 or 30, bad leads. But eventually you need to understand that you're speaking to the same prospects as everyone else, just some people are doing a better job at closing the deal and helping those people get started. There is something in your process that's broken down. You are saying something wrong in your conversations, wrong in your marketing, sending out the wrong webinar. There is something that is actually incorrect in your process right now. And you need to have the humility to reach out to someone who is succeeding right now and say, hey, and someone who's succeeding in the process that you do, not another member in another community who does business a completely different way, because they're not going to know how to coach you on this. You need to reach out to an upline that's created success in the way that you're doing it and say, hey, I usually create a lot more success than this. It's been about 3 or 4 weeks or 2 months, and I haven't really made any sales. I've made sales in the past, so I know I'm capable of it. I have changed a few different things because I thought I could do it better. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if I should go back to that other way. But can you just look at my conversation? Can you just look at one of my phone calls, one of my sales calls, my presentation that I'm sending out? And can you tell me if there's anything obvious on your end of why things just aren't working to the level they could be or should be? Through that humility, someone else is going to be able to plug the holes in the boat of your ship that you didn't even realize is the clear reason why you are sinking and not getting to the island being your goal, which you should have. You should have an idea. Do you want to make 20K a month, 30K a month, 40K a month, 50K a month, and why? And whose life other than yourself would this help if you're actually able to achieve it? And remember, simple is repeatable. If only you are able to sell the way you sell, how are you going to teach it to your team? Keep it simple, stupid, right? KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Whenever someone asks me, how do you build this business? You generate leads by talking about the pain points and problems in your ideal client's life. You mention the ideal client and the problem in the hook of the ad. You've got 3 seconds to get their attention. You need a clear call to action. Click that button below to learn more. And you should go and create your ad in a place that you actually enjoy being, because that energy is going to come through in your ad. Then you just need to start generating leads. You need to watch Sales Mastery every single day for at least 30 days so you can become an expert in the one thing we actually are, which is salespeople. And sales is amazing. And it's our job to share this with as many people as possible. So become an expert in sales. You'll know what to say, when to say it. And if you feel the fear, do it anyway. You're scared to jump on a call, jump on the call, right? You're scared to do a discovery call, do it anyway. And trust in the webinar, trust in the processes. They've been there for a long time. They're created by people who know what they're talking about, and just be the best distributor you can possibly be by sharing that information. And remember that more does not equal better. Creating more stuff, more sprints, more challenges, more this, more webinars, more doesn't necessarily mean better. You could just be creating more work, more burnout, and more responsibilities when you could just be a super distributor, a super producer, focusing on the one thing that actually matters, generating leads, being really good at conversations. Because at the end of the day, if you're really good at conversations, it doesn't matter too much what information you're sending them, because your results, 90% of your results actually come down to what you are saying or not saying inside of that conversation. Do they respect you? Do you respect yourself? And would they want to join you if they saw how you showed up behind closed doors? And remember, people don't need to be led. They need someone to model. So it's more important not what you tell your team to do, what you tell your prospects to do. What's actually important is how you show up yourself every day in life. Because if you're an influential person and you know how to influence yourself to do the right things, by nature of the universe, mirroring you are going to create success in your life, and people are going to be drawn to you like a moth to a flame because they want to live the life and show up with the energy that you're showing up with every single day. If this short 15, 20-minute presentation was of value to you, please drop a comment below letting me know your biggest aha moment. And if you want to see more of these, much love. Let's go. Build your business, build your empire, one life, one chance. Let's get it.